Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric here with Iraq Veteran 8888. Today we have a very special video that we're doing here for you. We are up here at Classic Firearms in Monroe, North Carolina, and we're going to be showing off a very special exchange of Finnish M39s. This is a humongous collection that was purchased, and really in terms of Finnish M39s, you guys know I'm a huge fan of the Mosin Nagant and variants of that rifle. And when it comes to surplus, Finnish M39s have not been available on the surplus market for years until now. Classic Firearms recently acquired a very large representative example of M39s from a local collection. And I tell you what, I can't wait to unbox some of these things. This opportunity is probably never going to be available again. And you guys know I can sniff out surplus like a little bloodhound. So we're just gonna sniff our way over there to these crates and just have a little look around, see what we can find. Let's pop open some crates and have a look. All right, guys, well, we've gotten all of the Finnish M39s off the truck. I've got Ben here with me from Classic. You guys probably noticed, if you go to Classic Firearms on their YouTube channel, Ben here does a great job of showcasing a lot of the things that they get in and off the trucks. So Ben cracks open crates and skulls when necessary, right? So let's cut some up and have a look when you're ready.
All right, very good, let's do it. Let's see here.
Oh, that's a beautiful sound right there.
Flip the top, let's see what we got.
What the
What
heck?
a way to start. Gaylord full of slings.
Slings.
Hey, life's like a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're going to get. Let's move on to some rifles.
All right, well, Ben, box number one had a bunch of slings in it.
Yep.
Let's see what's in number two here. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. Watch your hands.
Got it.
All right, what do we got? More slings. Let's see what we got.
Hey, these have less mold.
Yeah, well, you know, they've been in storage a long time. I just love the markings on these things. It's just so neat.
I think it's great they took the time to ban the slings.
Heck yeah.
Never saw that before.
All right, well, box number two is slings. Maybe there's a joke going on here. You know, maybe it's just all slings and you just read the invoice wrong, and instead of rifles, it's actually just a whole bunch of slings.
Let's hope not.
Okay, well, box number three, let's see if we've got a little bit more rifles than we do slings. Here, Ben, you do the honors.
All right, we'll do.
I love it.
Hey!
Riffles. Heck yeah. All right. We're gonna look through a couple here and just kind of see what we got. So we got a shipping manifest with serial number range. Obviously, we're gonna make sure we keep up with that. All right, I'm just gonna grab one and have a peek here. Nice clean M39 there. Got an intact cleaning rod. Got one little minor stock repair, but that's common for these. Let's just peek through a couple of them, see what we come up with. There's so many of them here. So how many guns, Ben, came in this lot?
Haven't counted them up yet. I think we have about 1,500 in this, which is our final lot, by the way. This is the last of the batches that we're going to be getting of the M39s. We're very honored to have gotten all the M39s that are left in the country, and certainly there are no more left in Finland. So this will be it. And by the way, we're honored to have you here doing this review with us too. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, you know, we certainly weren't going to turn down a chance to come up here and look through some of these guns. So yeah, there's so many to go through. Obviously not going to go through all of them, but you guys are pretty much expecting to find Sockos, Tikas, various sneaks. If you guys don't know what a sneak is basically a gun that was produced, you know, at a much later date, and they technically weren't supposed to come in the country, and,
right,
you know, because of the date range that they fall in. So a lot of your sneaks will be in like 67, 68 on up to, I think some as late as like the early 70s.
And typically they're very nice because they don't have any issue use on them. They're
so
really
a lot of
nice
guys, if they're
weapons.
wanting to, you know, get a Finnish M39 as a shooter, a lot of times they'll buy a sneak because they are in such beautiful condition. I tell you what, look at the stock on that gun. You know what, Ben, I can't ever necessarily say I've seen a stock repair like that on M39. Look at that. The way they splice that.
Yeah, turn that to the camera, let him see.
That's really neat. So this one's got a very interesting stock repair. Not only a beautiful stock in general, pretty good markings here. Man, that is just a beautiful gun right there.
When you have a factory stock repair like that, I think it actually adds character to the weapon.
It does,
it's
you know,
very nice.
and what's odd is the way that the Finns actually splice their stocks. There's a couple of different patterns of splice in terms of that'll dictate whether or not the stock is an arsenal replacement or whether it's one that originally came on the gun. So you can generally tell from the shape of the finger grooves and the way they do the splice, there's 2 more with the same repair.
Exactly.
As to, you know, the way it was made, I've actually seen a few like Russian, you know, 9130s actually end up having very similar, you know, stock repair. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, those are so smooth.
Yeah, let's see what the bore looks like on that one. Oh yeah. It's generally going to be hard to find a Finnish M39 that's not in, you know, wonderful condition. So far, these look pretty nice. I guess we'll go through and break open a few more and just have a look, see what we come up with. All right, so box number 4, Ben, let's crack her open.
You know, before you do, we had 2 Gaylords that were strapped down tight that just had slings in them.
Yep.
This one's not strapped at all. Let's see what it's got. I bet it's got valuable rifles.
Oh, heck yeah.
Ooh.
Let's see, it says, very good, excellent B barrels. All right, well, let's see what
Those markings on the Gaylords may or may not be correct depending on how they were sorted at the source, but it is a bunch of good looking rifles for sure.
Boy, look at the bluing on that one.
In this case, the first one I picked up was a VKT.
Yeah, I've also have a VKT here as well. D shank barrel.
Yep, another D shank barrel.
Yep. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering what we're talking about when we talk about VKT or Sako or Tika. You know, all of these guns were rebarreled by various firms, and the barrels are produced by different firms, and they're rebarreled, they're restocked, that a different sighting arrangement built with them. We're going to be doing a video soon called What Makes a Mosin Rare. And in that video, we'll talk about different markings. We'll talk about what makes a Mosin desirable, what makes it less desirable. Some of these firms are a little bit more common than others. Doesn't make them any less desirable. They're still an obscure gun. Finnish M39 in general, as a service rifle, total production was what, just over 100,000 units?
Yeah, about 110,000.
So you're talking in the world of production and in the world of production figures,
102,000.
That is not a lot of guns.
I'm taking cues off camera. It's actually 102,000 is what I'm being told.
So,
and of that 102,000, we ended up with approximately 14,000, so well over 10%.
Heck yeah.
Most of those are gone now, by the way. This is our last shipment, so a rare find. We're, again, very proud to have them.
So when you're talking about a D-shank barrel, one of the things that you're primarily looking at, most of these VKTs are going to be marked with a D, and it's a tighter shank barrel. The bore is a little bit tighter, and they generally shoot exceptionally well. And you'll also notice a Finnish property mark, SA. And I'm not going to be nerdy and quote what that stands for, but let's just say if it says SA, it's Finnish property. So that's pretty dang neat. Some of these got some nice cartouches on them. This one here especially, I just eyeballed, it's got a beautiful cartouche here, Sako cartouche. And another thing you'll notice too, especially on the VKT guns, what I've seen over the years, you'll get a lot more of plum color. So when it comes to that plum color, what that comes from is the heat that they blued these under. Sometimes they might have got just a little bit hot.
The case hardening.
Yeah, and they'll kind of turn that plum color, you know. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, it's beautiful. No, let's not forget, these are surplus rifles. What you see is kind of what you get. There are going to be various grades of rifle in here. We happen to open a very nice Gaylord. Everything on this top row that I'm seeing so far, Eric, pretty much looks hand select. But again, it varies from not only from Gaylord to Gaylord, but from row to row. There's going to be some better, some worse. That's why we offer hand selects on the rifle. But the bluing on this one in particular and overall stock condition, some are just very, very nice.
I mean, I haven't seen one yet that doesn't have a good bore. Haven't seen one yet that doesn't have good metal work on it, decent stocks. Out of the couple of crates that we've popped open here so far, I've seen a couple with some minor stock damage, but guys, these things are old. They've been around a long time. It is a surplus firearm, so that is to be expected. One thing too that we didn't mention, some of them have hang tags on them. So Arsenal hang tag that's on this one. That's cool.
Yeah, it sure is. I have no idea what it says, but
I don't know,
very cool.
I don't know what it means, but it's certainly neat. So cool. Let's move on to another box, see what we can come up with. All right, number 6, Ben.
You ready?
Let's roll along here.
Let's see what we got.
Now guys, something to remember here is that we're just looking at the top layers of these guns. I mean, on these crates, each one of these has multiple layers. I mean, there's 100 rifles in each one of these guys here. So what we're seeing here, we definitely got some rougher ones. I don't want to say rough in a bad way, but what do you think, Ben?
Rough. They're rougher than what we've seen so far. You can see with the bluing, which is a lesser grade of bluing. We call it character around here, which basically means all the blue's worn off.
Yeah.
And it's down to the Pantene. But having said that, this is a nice Seiko. Different people say it different ways, with some really cool markings. And there's a word I can't pronounce that I see every now and again on one of these. I don't know if we can get a close up on one or not.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm not going to attempt to.
I understand. But sometimes individual characteristics on a rifle will trump overall condition. I think that's kind of what I'm seeing on this one. If you're a collector, if you know what some of these markings mean, and I guess you guys will come back to that and take a look at it later, but that's pretty cool.
Look at that bolt, Hal. I've never seen one
that heavy
like
character.
That. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, and it matches the receiver, of course.
Yeah.
We can come back to that, but it's very heavy character lettering on that particular bolt.
Right here, if we look at this bolt,
yep,
that's actually a really early bolt. You can see the old like Russian kind of cryptic looking acrylic, I guess.
Acrylic.
But yeah, the acrylic markings there. And then the Finns captured this gun and rebarreled it and then remarked it. And I like how the Finns use those tall, really tall numbers.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very, very cool.
I got it
back in there. So there's several of them in here that look like they're probably along that same line. Here, let's see. I'm gonna make fun of myself here. The Polalustoladios.
Easy for you to say.
Dude,
yeah,
that's a mouthful. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but they're definitely there.
You know, your Finnish viewers are going to give you a lot of grief over that.
That's okay. Look, if you're watching this video and you're Finnish, can you please put a comment down below and tell us how to pronounce that dang word?
Send your cards and letters to IRECVET8888.
Yeah, send all your complaints to my email box. Here we've got a Seiko marked D shank. We got the SA property mark. It's 1944 produced. It's got a scrubbed imperial marking, straight comb stock, Seiko stock. So you got the Seiko marking here on the stock itself. It's a straight comb stock, which is pretty cool. Most of your Finnish M39s have a pistol grip.
That's right.
Grafted into it. So this is a good example, Ben, of some of the rougher guns. But for a collector, though, they have a lot of interesting markings.
Sure.
Original stocks. I haven't really seen any post-war stocks in this particular batch. Well, that is just beautiful. We could talk all day about each box, but we'll move on and look at a few others. I want to try to locate some sneaks and maybe a few Tikas, other odds and ends.
We'll see what's here.
Very cool. All right, Ben, we're moving along. We've really found some pretty awesome rifles so far. I haven't really seen anything that I would consider to be crummy by any stretch of the imagination. No. I mean, this last, Ben kind of had maybe a couple of rougher guns, but still extremely collectible. So let's pop one open here.
All right, let's take a look. Your cameraman doesn't carry an Igloo coffee mug, does he? I mean, did he?
I think we might have knocked it over, but he'll live. He'll live.
Yeti. All right.
Oh, it's fine. It's strong.
It's a Yeti. It'll take the punishment.
All right. Let's see what we got.
Serial number list, of course.
Yep. This is Seiko. Nice pistol grip grafted stock. Force match numbers, which is pretty standard. Okay.
Yep.
Nice cartouche, stock maker's mark. Now, one of the interesting things about these stock maker's marks that I've seen is there's different ones. Like one of them looks like a yin yang, there's like an M and L. I have no idea what that stuff means, but it is kind of an interesting collector's niche with these.
Right.
Kind of see what's out there. Hang tag, look at that. Isn't that neat? Beautiful M39 there. A little bit of oil soak in the stock. Beautiful bore on this gun. One thing about surplus guns that you're going to see, especially with older guns that have been sitting in storage for a long time, you are going to get a little bit of oil soak on the stock. You'll see these dark splotches that are on the back sides of the stock. Guys, that's completely normal. It's not going to hurt the gun one bit. When it comes to surplus, there's just so many neat things about it. It's interesting to look through here and just see kind of what's here. Most of these look like, nice clean Seikos.
Eric, here's another Seiko. You may want to point out the stock repair on this one, how they use dowels to repair the stock.
Yep, that might have been something that started to develop a bit of a crack there. You can see there's kind of a spot where there's some burling in the grain right here, and that might have developed a crack over the years, and they might have fixed it. But otherwise, yeah, a nice M39. So you're gonna have your, varying stock repairs and little bits of things. But in my opinion, that's one of the things that makes these guns so unique. In this last bin over here, we didn't actually show it. We got to looking closer, and we found a rifle with a T carved in it that actually looks,
grab that for you.
Go ahead and grab that. It looks like maybe a training rifle of some sort. So you're gonna get odd ones from time to time that have things like this in it. Now, could this just have been, some guy's name and he just wanted to carve it in there or something? We don't know. Or is this a training rifle? We have no way of knowing, but it is still, you've got the stock maker's mark, the SACO mark, and then you got a T, which I'm assuming is for training. That is a really neat gun, and stock repair with the dowels again. So this is a one-trick pony M39 that's got all of the interesting things you would expect to see, like a stock repair,
right,
and then the markings. Let's set him aside.
Very good. Just so your viewers will know from Classic Arms perspective, something like this is very unique like this. We would set that aside and sell it as a one-off with the T in it. Don't expect to randomly order a rifle and just receive one that's carved up. We don't do that. It will be a representation of the entire lot that you would get if you order from Classic. So Ben, unless it's otherwise marked, of course.
Explain to them exactly how your hand select process works, because I know that I myself, I'm familiar with it. I've bought a lot of random surplus guns from all different kinds of places, and I know what's entailed in a hand select fee. But when someone actually goes through the process to pay for the hand select, what are they getting?
As far as hand selecting best of 10, I can grab this Seiko rifle. Bluing is close to 100%. Stock is gorgeous. There's no mars, no cracks, no digs, no dings. This looks like an unissued rifle.
Hang
it's
tag.
Beautiful. It's got a hang tag. We know, and our guys know because they're experienced, they've gone through it, this is a hand select rifle. So I don't need to go through a lot of guns to say, hey guys, this is a hand select.
Sure.
By the same token, I can grab another one that may be a little rougher. There you go.
This one. Yep.
You see the bluing wear, you're going to see some divots and dings and digs in the stock. This will not qualify as a hand select rifle. That'll be a standard grade rifle. We'll be selling it as such.
And what's interesting though, from my perspective, as not only a person that's a fan of surplus and everything like that, if I were to look through these, I mean, like, this unissued rifle is awesome. And believe me, if you're wanting a shooter, that's the rifle to get. I mean, that sucker is going to be straight as an arrow. It's going to shoot really well. But also, this is a standard gun, guys, right here. Look at that beautiful stock. Look how nice that stock is.
Let me qualify one thing too, Eric, and make it a little more clear. When we hand select best of 10, typically it's when we're getting down to the lower portion of the batches. Say all of our true hand selects, top end, unissued guns are gone, and we're down to what we would call standard grade used guns.
Sure.
Okay. Then you've got different guns with various grade of use on them.
Oh yeah. Various
grades of bluing that they have. At that point, you stand guns literally beside each other and you say, here's a group of guns, which one is the best one that we have? Agreed. Out of that, that would be your hand select.
Agreed, absolutely. I'll tell you what, that is one beautiful Finnish M39 right there. I myself, when it comes to shooting these things, I don't mind one that's got a little bit of bluing wear, and I think that you have to kind of, I don't want to say lower your expectations, but with your expectations when you're ordering a gun sight unseen, I know that can be a little odd to some people. One of the things you have to remember is that these are surplus rifles, and you're getting the experience of getting a firearm that is an older firearm, and part of that involves a little bit of bluing wear, maybe a cracked toe here and there, or a split tang. They're not project rifles per se, but expect them to be, I mean, they are used rifles, so there's going to be that bit of a mystery there. That's awesome.
Yeah. What we always tell people is there's a certain amount of gamble involved in anything. If you're just ordering a standard grade rifle, we just received in about 1,400 rifles here. They're surplus. Somebody's going to get the best one. Somebody's going to get the worst one. Most people will get somewhere on the gamut in between, okay? If you're not willing to take that chance, don't mail order a rifle.
Absolutely.
Just don't do it. Go and buy at point of sale where you can see it and hold it and rub it and be sure what you're getting. But we're trying to give you a very realistic expectation
Heck yeah.
of what the overall group will look like.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the tops of these bins is any indication, it's a pretty dang good looking batch of rifles here. Let's move on. We got more to look at.
Very good.
All right. All right, well, Ben and I have been going through all these gondolas, and we found some truly awesome guns, and I have to say, they almost kind of defy logic in terms of grading because there's just so many nice ones.
We've seen some very top-end guns, that's for sure.
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we're going to pop open one more. Now, there's several more. We're not going to get into every single one because at this point, we've seen so many nice ones. I don't really want to make this video too terribly long, but what we are going to do, after we pop this one open, we're going to have a look through these crates here. There's actually some Finnish M39s that came in the actual crates.
I'm excited about those. There's some good markings on the end. Now, you can't always depend on the markings, but I got a feeling we're going to find some jewels in those wooden crates. But let's pop open this gate over
Crack her open, Ben. Oh man, this is just great. I love this kind of stuff. Okay.
Looks like a good assortment.
Looks like we got an assortment. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to grab, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a little bit different than the last ones. Let's grab the crummiest looking. Well, I hate to use the word crummy, but I'm going to grab, let's just say.
That one has a cracked stock. Why don't you start there?
Yeah, let's see what we got. All right, we got a Valmet D barrel shank, 1942. All right, now this is a great example, guys. Okay, we've got a Finnish M39 here with a cracked toe, a cracked stock. The bolt handle is pitted severely. The bluing is definitely not perfect. The rear sight is pitted. Okay, so guys, this is an example of a gun that's probably on the bottom end of condition. Let's look at the bore. Dark bore. Okay, so this is certainly one that I would consider kind of on the bottom side. It's still an M39 though.
Let me interject and tell you how we handle a rifle like this. Now, certainly there's going to be a grade difference between our standard rifles and our hand selects. Anytime we have apparent cracks, now I'm not talking about a tiny little non-function impairing crack in a handguard or something like that. We don't disqualify that rifle. But when we have impaired cracks like this, when the guys find them as they're sorting them, they set them aside. When we have enough of them set aside, and we just got through running a batch of these, we will offer them up as cracked stock rifles at a discount. So this would be a discounted rifle at the end of the day. When we do decide to offer them up, I'll hand you that back if you want to continue going. Just wanted to cover that with the folks.
Yes, sir, absolutely. So let's see. Here's a gun that's got a couple of plug spots on the stock, a couple of dowel pins that were put in place to help repair it. And it's got a toe splice, which is fine. That was probably done at the Arsenal. It was a normal repair or manufacturing process. Yep. This is a 41, so it's a nice early VKT. Nice simple mark. It's got a double D shank. That's kind of cool.
Double D.
Two Ds. All right.
I'll leave that there.
Yeah, you know, I had to throw that out there, Ben. Good bore. So this is a gun that is definitely in the shooter grade, guys. You know, this is one you can take out the range, have fun with, shoot it. It's got some interesting markings, good solid stock. Look at that repair.
Yep, that's very well done.
Right there at the actual splice. So
and from classic sale standpoint, this will be considered a standard grade gun. If you order a standard grade non-hand select, this will be one of the guns that ships as that grade, as a standard grade.
And I think that what we're seeing in this particular batch is pretty much mostly VKTs in about the same condition. These aren't terribly nice. They're not like super unissued like the ones we found over there. Another interesting thing to note about the Finnish M39s as well is that with these particular guns, they all have hex receivers. You're not going to find a Finnish M39 with a round receiver.
Right.
They all have usually antique or at least very old antique receivers. So that's something very cool. And these all have the pistol grip, grafted socks. So this is definitely, from what I'm seeing here, this would be considered a standard guns. Right. What I'm seeing here.
I think so too.
Yep. That's what we got here. Yep, D-shank barrel. Pretty standard fare. So I think it's quite clear what's in this gondola. Let's move on to some of the crates.
I'm excited, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Ben, we're gonna crack open some actual crates.
I'm excited.
All right, let's have a look. Okay, now earlier we were looking through a couple and we identified some Tikas. Now the Tikas are pretty dang uncommon M39s. There's not a whole lot of them out there. This particular one's all matching.
That is nice. A Tika, right?
Yep, it is a Tika.
This is a Tika also. Evidently we have found the elusive crate of Tikas. This is like finding a Loch Ness Monster.
A Loch Ness Monster? Boy, I tell you what, that is one clean gun. The bore on this thing is mirror shining.
Let me get out of your way. I'm so excited to see Tikkas. It's very rare.
Yep.
This is one with an Imperial Eagle stamp on it also. So you've got the value of the Tikka plus being Imperial Eagle stamped. And not only that, it's a beauty.
Heck yeah. Boy, I tell you, you can't go wrong. Got the Imperial marking there. Most of these are 42, 43 dated Tikkas. Well, it's a mirror shiny barrel. Really good looking stuff. I think you guys can definitely get the idea about, what this group of rifles is about. I mean, these guys have done a great job by allocating these things, and the fact that they're going to be available to the public to me is just so awesome, that you can actually get surplus M39s now. And some of these are really rare, and they're going to go hopefully to a loving home. Some people are going to give these things a good place to exist and be appreciated. To me, that's the most important thing about these rifles, is making sure that they're going to go to a place where they're going to be appreciated, they're going to be used. Well, I tell you, I'm excited. I'm really, really glad for these guys to have gotten this lot of guns, and I'm glad they're going to be available. And be expecting some Finnish M39 range videos. We're definitely going to be getting on that. But before we sign off, we're going to crack open one more crate, just because. Why not?
Just because, right?
Heck yeah. All right, Ben, we're going to crack open one last crate.
Sounds good.
We found some B barrels, apparently.
That's what I saw earlier in here, yeah.
Let's have a look. All right, so a B barrel gun, from what you were telling me earlier, is a no maker.
Well, obviously somebody made it, but it's not listed as a Socko or a VKT. It's a B barrel.
Yep. So not B as in, hey, it's a crummy gun and we don't want it. Just B as in,
no,
that's the way
it's not a second. As a matter of fact, most of the time, they were later make rifles, and because of that, they show very little use, as I think you'll see a good representation of here inside the crate.
Yeah, this particular rifle's got just a little bit of very superficial pitting on the bolt. Nice little bit of bluing wear, but you got your B shank there. It's still SA marked. This one's a 42. All the numbers match.
Honestly, for a B barrel, this one's probably a little bit on the lower graded side from what you would typically see with a B barrel. Still a very nice rifle, as you can see.
Grab one here that's a little bit, oh yeah.
That's a little more typical.
Yep, it's a nice gun. This particular one's got some nice plum coloring. On the Fin M39s, I love that nice plum metal that you'll get on them from the bluing process. They, from what I understand, they got the bath maybe a little hot. That hotter bluing can kind of give you that plum color.
You're not the only one that loves it. A lot of people love that plum coloration. It's like an antique metal finish. It is, it is. See what the board looks like on this gun here. I'm just gonna kind of peek down it real quick. Set this one aside.
Well, this this B shank gun is pretty much brand new. The barrel is literally brand new. So it's safe to say there's a pretty strong chance that this gun is either unissued or very close to it. Check him out. Boy, there's some goopy looking ones down here on the bottom layer here. I'm not going to get into them, but they're definitely oil soaked. This one here looks like it is particularly nice, and it's got this something wrapped on the stock here. Let's have a look. 1942. This one has a mismatched bolt. So occasionally you're going to see that with a lot of surplus guns. Sometimes the bolts are going to be mismatched. I would say out of all of these particular rifles I've looked through, I haven't seen but maybe one or two out of the entire lot so far that had mismatched bolts. And honestly, I've very rarely ever seen a Mosin series of rifles that has any type of headspace problem ever. I mean, you're just not going to see that being a problem ever.
Yeah, we've never encountered it.
Yeah. So we just wanted to really take a moment to come down here to Classic and show you guys this awesome lot of guns. If you have any questions about M39s in general, be sure to call Ben here or any of the guys that can help you out. Yeah, ask for Ben if you have a question, but they're a great bunch of people to work with. And the fact that these guns are available, they're out here, I just really felt that it was a service to you guys to show you, what you can come to expect out of this lot, because I think you're going to see that, coming up pretty soon, if you're going to find an M39, you're pretty much going to have to get it to Classic because they're just not out there.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, Eric, and let me tell you what a privilege it is, an honor for us to have Iraq Vet 8888 with us today. It's just been an absolute honor. Thank you for coming and kind of see what we do.
Absolutely.
Reviewing some nice surplus. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully your viewers enjoyed it.
I think,
and again, thank you.
I think what the viewers are going to like even more is maybe get some guns out to the range and do some shooting. So we actually, I'm going to give you guys kind of a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of an idea I've got going here. When we were down in Leesburg this last weekend, they've got the 1,000-yard range down there. So I'll tell you what, we're going to load up some good match-grade ammo for these things, and we're going to find a nice tight M39, tighten down the action screws, clean the barrel good, and we're going to get out and put some steel out at about $1,000 and get these things on steel at 1,000 yards, iron sights.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, maybe we'll work that out, but you better believe we'll be filming it. So thank you, Ben, for having me. I really enjoyed it today. Hopefully you guys learned something about the Finnish M39. There's really no better way to explain the differences of these guns, the condition, the grading, than to get up here and physically have all of these guns to compare to each other. I can't think of a time where this has ever been an opportunity for anybody, so I definitely appreciate the opportunity to come up here and look around. So guys, check out Classic. They're a great bunch of guys. If you have any questions, give them a call. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate the support. We'll catch you next time.